one thing
Okay, me too.
Hmm?
Okay, me too.
So anytime that there's ever been a discussion like this, I've always wanted to know what they talked about afterwards. So this would be one of those ones where I don't know how to do the YouTube links where I can be like, check up there, and it'll be a link to this or whatever.
You add a card. We can do it together and believe in us.
But I like how we can kind of have sort of like a tail off to this instead of just an abrupt end, and that's kind of what this is. And I was honestly surprised how the entire thing went, and I didn't feel as if I was leading you or you were leading me. It was a very, very different experience, changing your mind in a conversation while someone else does the same thing, but not feel as if you've been led to think that way.
Yeah, I appreciate. It's funny because with my brother, most of the time he's just changing my mind, and I'm not an easy person to get to change my mind. I'm fairly bullheaded. I don't like admitting that because I want to believe that I'm like just really open-minded and I can go where the wind goes, but I can't. But he mostly changes my mind because he has really good reasons for the things he thinks, and he thinks so differently than me. Um, that when he comes with me, he says, "Well, yeah, you think this, but what about this?" And it just kind of lightly branches off, and I'm like, "Oh shit, there's a whole nother like side to this I have not thought through." And I think it was really cool to hang out with you, and we branch off and we end up going the same exit on the freeway and just right back to where we that was fun. It was fun.
Another
So,
thing
because
I don't know if you noticed, but I did only whenever it happened. Is normally, and for those of you that know me, I can be quite potty mouthed. And I only said 3 cuss words that whole time. And they were all ones that, for the most part, you'll hear on TV, no problem. You'll hear them in a PG-13 movie. I only said each of them once. I don't know if you caught on to any of that.
I didn't even notice. And I don't think I cursed as much as I normally do.
You didn't
And so it's
cuss
just really
until this tail off. That's you said,
like I
ah,
didn't
shit,
even
and I'm going, ha, I'm not the only one that said it. But it was shit,
but
damn,
I
and
hadn't
hell. It was
even
the only
noticed.
times that I had cussed, because I don't like saying cursed and I don't like saying swore. Because I think
I
if you're
just
cursing someone, you're wishing something upon them, and if you swear, you have to actually add that word in. So that's why I would say they're cuss words. They're not curse words. They're not swear words. I'd be even be okay with bad words, even though I don't think any word. Well, there aren't many words that are inherently bad,
I think
but
the only ones that are inherently bad are the ones that were actually created to keep people down.
that's why I said most.
Um, yeah, and I agree with you there. And in fact, as a mother, I raised my child that there aren't any bad words, just like there aren't any bad people. And my ex was like, there are bad people. And I'm like, right. But when you start saying people are bad people and good people, you create this like idea of perfection and idea of evil that just don't exist in the human realm. People that are really, really bad, they also have had someone that has loved them. And they've probably cared for someone. And so no one is all bad and no one is all good. And so there are just people that have done really terribly horrible bad things. And there are people that have lived their lives trying to do what's best for everyone else. And we just don't use those words. I grew up in a house with a swear jar, and that's what it was called. And I had to put money in it a lot. I got in a lot of trouble because my dad was very much, say whatever you want. No word is bad. And I grew up with my aunt, and she was like, "Did you just say shut up? Put money in the swear jar?" I was like, "I said shut up." That was the
I
swear. That
know
was the
that
S word in our household.
if you say suck, like you suck or that sucks, they're like, duh, that's bad. I'm going,
Well, my aunt used to say, like, you better follow that up with like a vacuum. And I always laughed because I would be like, oh, that sucks, and like a vacuum. And so I had to follow it up with
You
that, or I had
suck
to
like a
pay.
vacuum. What are you doing in your room?
Yeah,
Open that door.
understand.
Unlock this door.
I tried to find ways around everything, and so I figured the payback as like a parent myself would be awful, and it hasn't been. So I count myself lucky pretty much all the time. I just constantly think of how much worse it could be, judging by my childhood.
Well, and when you said, damn it, I can't think of it, but I can think of my example. Um, like the tonality. I had a customer that came in that was already pissed off that we didn't just instantaneously assume that the sun came out of, rised and set in her butthole, and she just had a chip on her shoulder, and she asked if I could help her. I said, I'll see what I can do. What do you mean you'll see what you can do? I'm going, you have no idea what's going on, or you're just completely oblivious. But if someone says, I'll see what I can do, it's like, okay. My brain goes to challenge accepted. Let's test if this dude could help me out. And I've never gone into a place and thought, you know what? I need to ruin someone's day today. I just need to take a big fat shit all over it. Because I'll see what I can do.
Well,
She acted as if I had just told her if I feel like it.
but maybe that's what she heard, because that's another thing I wanted to say when we were talking about tunnel, but it was going off on a rabbit hole and going is there are so many ways you can perceive what someone says, and perception is reality, right? So if someone perceived that as a, oh, you're gonna make me work, I'll see what I can do, but like I'm not gonna go out of my way. Like if someone heard it like that, so it's not on you. If you were saying it in a, like, yeah, I'll see what I can do. Let me see if I can fix this up for you, and she heard, you're gonna make me work. There was no way for you to correctly handle that. Like some people just carry with them the results they expect,
Yeah.
and they put them on you.
Projected aggression. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'm done. But I again, we tend to go off on tangents, but I'm very very interested into seeing where the next topic will take us. And you know what we could do? We could
Mm.
give the next topic in these tail offs to give people an idea that, hey, these tail offs exist. Go click there and watch them, because then you can learn what the next topic's going to be about before it actually happens, so you too can formulate something and fill up the comment section.
That sounds fun.
I just
But
gotta
then we
I
would
just
need to
gotta find my
decide,
list.
like right now. But
I
while we're
can't
doing that,
handle this pressure.
it's too much. While you're looking for your list, because it's your turn to choose. I want to
I figured that's why
tell
I
you.
had to look.
um, I want to tell you a quick story. Recently, and I guess it's kind of personal, but I think it's funny. Is my YouTube channel is very very small because I've just started it, and I've been putting up videos when I have the time, so it's not like there's any schedule or anything.
What did I tell
And
you?
huh? No, don't know me. I'm nobody.
What did I tell you?
But my point,
Consistency.
I know. Whatever. I have a life. It's hard. So my point is, I was telling my brother, I was like, hey, are you subscribed to my YouTube? Because like we live together. He owes me for putting up with him, right? And so I was like, have you subscribed? And I felt a little bit like one of those people in an infomercial. Like I was so embarrassed to have to ask him to do this for me. And I was like, hey you. And he said, I'll vet the content and see what I can do. And so that's what reminded me of it, is what you were saying earlier. But I was like, okay. And so he goes and, takes a shower and he's playing video games. And then he comes to me and he's like, all right, I've watched one. And I was like, okay. And he's like, and I subscribed, but I have lots of suggestions. It's bad. And I was like, okay. You have lots of suggestions. And I was like, okay, what is one of them? And he was like, you really want to know? Like, this is not a trick, right? You're not gonna like attack me. Like this is, and I was like, no, and I'd love to hear you. And he was like, the voiceovers, you gotta get more interesting stuff to say. And I was like, that's fair. I mean, most of the time, actually, present company excluded, I have never been able to do a voiceover without having like um a mini panic attack. When I know my voice is being recorded, I kind of stop remembering to breathe and I start panicking. And now thinking about it, I'm starting to do it right now. But it hadn't occurred to me. But and so it sounds really stilted and really, really rehearsed, even though it's not, and um, flat. And he was like, you gotta get someone to just like talk to you while you're watching the edit of your paint thing, and just have someone just randomly put in, now that dog's face looks like a foot. It looks like a foot with no eye. Oh no, the foot's got an eye. That's even worse. And just have someone talking to you while you're trying to
So
do a
he's wanting
voiceover.
you to have someone cast your
Yes,
paintings.
yes. And so I was like, but you're the only person I know that would say stuff like that about my painting. And so he was like, all right, I'll do it. But I'm not giving up my free time. And I was like, I didn't ask you to.
I just
It
asked you to hit the
wasn't what
fucking
this was.
subscribe button, you dick.
And so we had this whole conversation, and now he's like randomly, like he'll just be walking through the living room and he'll randomly say like something that's hilarious and weird about one of my paintings, and he's like, that could have been on a video. And so I'm constantly um he was saying that I really needed to work on that. So I'm just really excited because I didn't have hives. I didn't stop breathing. I was able to talk to you like we were just having a conversation.
Well,
Maybe
I mean
this
that
is a
was the
step in the
that was
right
the base
direction.
definition of it that we started out with to begin with, right?
Yeah.
All right
I
then.
didn't die though. I didn't stop breathing. Pickle, why are you
so
not more excited about my no longer imminent demise?
so are you ready for next week's topic?
Yes.
We're gonna do our talk about depression. We're gonna go all the way out now.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The
And
only reason why is because this topic is something that is very objective, but depression I think is very subjective. And the what little we talked about it when we came up with this one for a topic is why I think, especially during times like this and all the crazy shit that's going on, I think we need to at least feel like we did our part to throw something out there, um, because it is something that people dismiss too quickly and don't realize what's going on. And I have examples that I'm going to use when we talk about this, but it's legit and it needs to be discussed because there's too many people that actually have a mental illness in this country. And when you say those two words, mental illness, people instantaneously like, oh, it's the crazy people. No, it's not. Because chances are you're standing next to one right now. There's such a
so you
broad
saying,
spectrum of mental illness.
so are we going to argue the stigma of calling it a mental illness? Are we going to argue about whether or not depression is um, an actual thing? Are we going to?
So what I wrote down was depression is real. It's there's also been times where I've been told happiness is a choice. You have to choose to be happy, but you choose to be sad. And that's
Okay,
what I
so
want to get
let's
rid
have.
of.
No, that's perfect. Let's have our next topic be: is happiness a choice? Is depression real?
Yeah.
Because those are things we can argue, and I love that idea because I'll fight you on it. I'm so excited.
this may this I'm also kind of thinking that this is going to be another one where I don't think we're going to have two differing opinions, but I do think that two neutral parties to the world, as well as just two friends having a discussion, this needs to get out there. And I don't know if you ever saw. Well, I don't think you. Do you know I have a YouTube channel, right?
Yes, I'm subscribed, I believe.
Did you see my thing about the fishbowl?
Yes, I did. And I saw it posted on your Discord as well.
Um, it's just something like that. I think is also something that needs to be put out there, because a lot of people that have depression don't feel like there's any backup. And I think next week's topic, when we talk about this, is going to show those people that there is backup. And um, there are people out there that care. You probably just not finding them in the right spots that you think. And
Yeah,
that'll be something more towards the solution end of it. But yeah, happiness is a choice. Slash depression is real is going to be next week's topic.
excited. All right, well, I'm gonna go make food. By that I mean reheat pizza because I'm a moderately lazy human. So, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you for listening to this trail off and our random thoughts into next week. I will have my idea ready next week and I'll make Pickle tell me a humiliating family story while I find my topic. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
Take care.
Bye.